Rolling with the triple C, I'ma make them bend the knee. Rolling with the triple C, don't really count the heat.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of The Aftermath, where we absolutely had a blockbuster UFC Fight Night at the end of the year, guys. There are so many winners in this card. But before we get there, I just want to let you guys know that this episode here at the Cringe Mafia Mansion, this is sponsored by JiMMYBAR. Guys, I am down 15 pounds. I feel good. My recovery is good. I'm feeling in shape. I'm feeling good. And I'm looking good. Anyhow, guys, you guys get your Jimmy on. Guys, the last fight of the year really delivered. UFC Fight Night, the last card of the year, Cannonier versus Strickland. That whole card, in my opinion, for a fight night, was the best fight night of the year. Not every fight was exciting, but the guys that really kind of came to mind, there are three people. And I'm going to start off with the flyweight guy that everybody needs to keep their eyes on. That's right. I'm talking about Amir Albazi. You guys, this guy, this flyweight from Pakistan, I call him the Pakistani nightmare because he's going to be a nightmare for anybody at 125 pounds. He has grit. He has the mentality. He's been able to show, especially his fight against Alexandre from Brazil, how he was able to knock him out. I mean, at flyweight, when you're able to catch these uppercuts, these hooks, these right hands on people, and you're able to fold them and put them out, guys, those are the guys that you want to really watch out for. Those are the dangerous guys. Those are the guys that when I see him, I see this is a very technical guy that knows when to take risk at the right time. Amir, I personally called David Supergado and let him know, hey, man, keep your eye on this guy. Keep your eye on this guy because this guy does produce power. He could wrestle. He could defend. He's a pretty well-rounded fighter. And if I was 125 pounds, which I'm not no more, I'd keep my eyes on him. So that's one person that really came to mind. And I do believe in the future, this guy is a future title contender. He's got anywhere between 1 to 2 fights before he fights for the title. I can see him fighting against Nicolas Mateos. If I was him, that's the fight that I would call out, and then call out somebody, a Kai Kara France or somebody in that top 4, that top 3, and you will get that next title shot. So Amir, congratulations to you. I'm not sure if you got the 50 G's, but if you did, well deserved. The other fight that really came to mind is that, to me, one of the comebacks of the year. I'm gonna have to give it to Drew Dober. You know, Drew Dobers have been on these grinds, have been on these tough fights when he's been able to get stick a lot, and potentially even losing the fight. But just his tenacity of him wanting and willing to come back. Drew Dober coming back from that, he was pretty much getting papped up from Bobby Green. Bobby Green was doing everything under the sun to Drew Dober. Jabs, right hands, he was coming in, right hand, and everything was done by the hips. I tell you what, there's something about Drew Dober that there's a durability that he has. There's a chin. I don't know if it's the big head that he has or whatever it may be, but the man could absorb punches. Then a man will continue to keep coming forward to eventually backing up Bobby Green, getting him close against the cage where he wasn't able to do his little swagger, when he wasn't able to do his lateral movement to eventually catch him with that right hand. Guys, there's something to be said about Drew Dober. That dude might be part Mexican. He trains with guys like Justin Gaethje. A lot of you guys probably don't know, but Justin Gaethje is Mexican. There's something to him. He might be, but I want to find out now because he has a heart that is probably second to none. That being said, congratulations to him where he was able to get the victory. Alex Caceres, I tell you what, guys, that kick that he was able to do, to me, if you guys really understand the logic of mixed martial arts and what Alex Caceres was able to do, Bruce Leroy, how he was able to throw that punch, that left hand, I was already extended, but yet he was able to still kind of be in a position where he was able to lift that knee and then eventually flick that kick to eventually knock his opponent out. That's not technique. You know what that is, guys? That's pure athleticism. That is funk. That is something that you have that's not even given. You just have it or you don't. Because in that situation, be able to have that power to be able to knock your opponent out, to me, that's probably one of the best TKOs in UFC history when you break it down and see the technical aspect of exactly what is it that he did, being extended to eventually just picking that knee up and then boom, flicking it from up top. Fantastic and beautiful. Now let's get down to the main event. I tell you what, man. A lot of people want to blame Israel Adesanya for being boring, and I was one of them. I'm guilty, just like each and every one of you guys. But guys, if these guys don't fight the main event, it was almost like, man, you should have almost put Doug Crosby in there, because really, when you just think you're winning, you should never think you're winning a round. You should know you won a round. You understand that? And sometimes it doesn't come down to that one significant strike. 'Cause remember, you got to keep in mind with that cage control, not that cage control, but the time control that an opponent can kind of put together. That fight, I have no idea who won, but they're either both winners or they're both losers. But I'm okay with the decision. I thought the Killer Gorilla controlled more. I felt like he got more of the significant strikes. I thought he pressed a little bit more. I thought he did a better job of bringing the fight to to his opponent. But other than that, man, I think other than that, man, the main event was probably not the best. The rest of the card, from Bruce Leroy to Amir to Drew Dober, this is what made the card. The main event, scratch it out. It's not always Israel's fault. Anyways, what you got for me, Michael?
You want to touch on Arman Tsarukyan? He had a really, really impressive win, and he's a guy he's only 26 years old. You know, his only losses in the UFC are to Gamrot and Islam Makhachev in his first fight in the UFC. How impressed were you in a decisive victory for him and someone who, he might get that rematch against Islam one day?
I wish they gave him I wish he had a better competitor. I wish they gave him somebody in the top 5 or somebody in the top. You know what I'm saying? Because he did have a tough one against Gamrot, and he was winning that fight with Gamrot until Gamrot, the competitor came out. And he eventually ended up getting the victory. But I think he's good. I think there's a lot of things in there that he has. Did he go with decision with Islam? Is that what it was?
Yeah. So he lost to him decision. It was actually a fight of the night. When in his UFC debut, so that was pretty, I would think, pretty impressive, and he could, in quick order, maybe if he has a couple more impressive wins, that's a rematch that the UFC could really build.
Yeah, they could because Islam's been finishing everybody, and sometimes the more you start finishing people, they're gonna want to go to the next best guy that gave you a good fight in one of those fights. So I think he has a bright future. I think he needs, I go back and I watch his Gamrot fight. And I just think competitively, he needs to become more of a competitor than a fighter. And I think that's where Gamrot beat him. He dragged him into that competitive spirit, and he was able to pretty much steal that fight for him. I did feel like Gamrot did beat him just based on competitiveness and when he actually pulled the trigger. The Islam Makhachev fight, I'm going to have to rewatch that. I think that's been a while ago since I've seen it, if I did even see it. But I think kudos to him. I think there's a lot of good fights. I think one guy that really comes to mind that somebody's got to fight is Fiziev needs to fight. So somebody needs to fight Fiziev, whether it's him, whether it's Gamrot. But I do believe that Fiziev is a dark horse in that whole division. So again, guys, I tell you what, guys, I want to just wish everybody a Happy New Year's and a very, very Merry Christmas, guys. You guys did not forget, whether you're on the naughty list or on the good list, is to make sure and buy everybody some damn JiMMYBARs, because all you guys need to lose some damn weight. Like I said, man, from my family to yours, I just want to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Triple C is out! So thank you guys again for watching. It means a lot to me. So you guys remember, there's more breakdown, there's more technique, there's more tactics, and there's definitely more cringe. So make sure to subscribe and click on that button. I'm out!